Hi there, and welcome to today's webinar with Courtney Posh of Graceful Transitions. Courtney's going to go through some do's and don'ts for you to be aware of when you're thinking about downsizing. My name's Harry Moore. I'm an agent with EXP Realty. I serve Montgomery County, Washington, D.C., and Northern Virginia. And now I'm going to hand it over to Courtney so she can tell you a little bit about her company, and then she will start talking about do's and don'ts. All right, Courtney.
All right, thank you, Harry. So
Sure.
my name is Courtney. I'm an operations manager for a company called Graceful Transitions. We are a full-service moving and move management company. We specialize in helping seniors with their moves from start to finish, and we not only assist with downsizing, but we also space plan, pack, move, unpack, and handle all of the excess left over after the move. We have the tools and experience to make your transition as easy as possible.
Great.
All right, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about the do's and don'ts when you're preparing to downsize and move.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so we'll jump right into it. The first part we're going to talk about is time. So when it comes to time, don't stress yourself out by waiting too long to start. Rushed decisions only equal more stress. Downsizing and moving can already be a very emotionally and physically stressful time. And when you're forced to make rash decisions about your cherished belongings because of a dwindling timeline, anxiety and stress levels tend to rise. Not to mention, it may cause you to make decisions you regret down the line. In addition, when more stress is added, emotions tend to get high, which can cause tensions between loved ones who are only trying to help. Important aspects get missed or rushed through. There's a lot to think about when preparing to move that can easily get overlooked or forgotten. For example, closet shelving. You may not properly plan where all of your clothes are going to fit in your new closets if you're rushing around. I have a great example for you on the next slide. We'll get to that shortly. Cabinet lining. This is something that you want to do before you have an unpacking crew setting up your new kitchen. And rug pads. Old rug pads tend to disintegrate over time, and you don't want to bring old rug pads that are falling apart into your new home. Remembering to purchase new rug pads is important and tends to get overlooked, especially when you're overwhelmed. In addition, more stuff tends to be moved than intended. It's easy to just say, bring it, I'll sort through it at the new place when you're running out of time to make decisions, but this can lead to overcrowding and clutter in the new space. And here is the example of closet shelving and why it can be so important to plan for. So on your left, you see a very
Oops.
overcrowded and cluttered closet that is not easily accessible. And on your right, you see beautiful new shelving and a very organized, easily accessible closet. So when it comes to time, do give yourself plenty of time. Start early. There's never a bad time to begin, and then you don't have to worry about rushing around at the last minute. Set a timeline for yourself. Establish goals along the way that will help you to be ready and prepared to stick to the timeline that you create. And limit your work sessions to avoid overexhausting yourself. I recommend 1 to 2 hour sessions and stopping once you reach your time limit for the day, even if you feel like you have the energy to keep working. This allows you to conserve your energy to continue working the next day. Here is an example of a before and after from a client who gave themselves plenty of time to prepare for their move. It turned out beautiful, nice and open, and no clutter. We were even able to hang their artwork for them on the same day we moved them in. All right, the second thing we're going to discuss is the stuff. So don't overestimate how much stuff you can bring. It's easy to get overwhelmed by too much stuff, and feeling overwhelmed in your new home is not the way you want to start off that new adventure. Too much clutter is also a safety issue. Clutter limits safe walkways and creates tripping hazards. And not to mention, it's more costly. The more stuff there is to move, the more expensive it can get. That's because it will involve more labor time to move the additional stuff. Not to mention, when a space gets crowded, you begin to run out of places to place things, which can lead to the need to pay for storage space.
Can I
Here's
interject a little something here?
absolutely.
This isn't so much for, these are some clients who I was just working with this past weekend. They're moving down here from New York. And uh, the, the husband um, basically was so preoccupied with trying to find extra storage space for all the things that they weren't going to be able to fit that he had a little trouble focusing on looking at the apartments.
Right.
So I think that that is true for everybody. I mean, I remember when I moved out of my last house before I moved in here, I had boxes that had been untouched
Yeah.
sitting way up in the attic, and it was really, I felt terrible. But
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely. It's hard to let go of our stuff. It tends to mean so much to us, but in
yep,
doing so, we lose sight of the bigger picture.
absolutely. Okay, so we're back to the slides.
And here is an example of too much stuff. This was a move that we did. Too much stuff was brought to the new place. This is their new place. Um, and the client ended up having to hire us to come back to help them sort through all of the excess, which ended up costing more than it should have.
Right.
And we ended up going through it anyways. So that could have been done, on the first hand at the old house before we moved it over.
And they would have felt so much better
Mm-hmm.
instead of looking at this and, sort of kicking themselves and then
Yeah,
having to redo it all.
yeah, that's exactly right. All right. So when it comes to stuff, do have a floor plan made for your new space. Whether it's made by a professional or a family member or friend, a floor plan is so important and helpful to have, not only on move in day, but also when you're downsizing. A floor plan allows you to know ahead of time exactly what furniture will fit in your new space and where it will go. This eliminates the element of surprise on move in day. Having a space plan also helps you understand how much storage space you have for the small stuff. This is super helpful when downsizing and having to make decisions about these smaller items. And a floor plan also helps you save time and money in the long run. You're not paying a three-man moving crew to rearrange your living room multiple times trying to figure out where everything will go.
Right.
And here I have for you an example floor plan. This is to scale all of the furniture in the new space. It really just makes move-in days so much smoother. The moving crew knows exactly where to place the furniture. You know it's going to fit. It eliminates the need to remove anything at the end of the day and just really makes it overall an easier move-in process.
So, I'll ask a quick question. I assume that you do all of this on a computer. Do you do this like on a mobile device, or do you have to measure and then take it back to the office
Mhm.
to sort of create all the little pieces of furniture and stuff?
Yeah. So the way we do it at Graceful Transitions, and every company's probably different, but
Mhm.
we will have a floor plan consultation with our client. We'll go and we will measure all of the furniture that they know they want to bring, all of the furniture that they hope to bring, and any pieces that we might see that we think could be practical in the new space.
Mhm.
And then we go and we measure the new space. We measure where all the outlets are, the cable, the phone jacks. We measure any kind of bump outs in the wall or vents that might determine if a bookcase can or cannot be placed on that wall. And then we have a program that we use. It's on the computer, so it's not mobile, but we do use it on the computer. And with that, everything gets placed to scale, and we can make as many different versions of the floor plan as we need to until our client is happy.
Right. Okay. Good.
All right.
All righty.
And then we'll move on to our third and final topic, which is keeping it real. Don't be unrealistic. Easier said than done, I know.
Yep.
But don't try to do everything yourself. Overexerting yourself causes emotional and physical stress, which is what we're trying to avoid. Try to be realistic about what help you need, and so you can arrange for that help in advance. Not properly planning can equal a lot of bumps in the road. Moving is already stressful, and we want it to go as smoothly as possible. Having a solid plan in place will simply aid in that. And as we discussed before, it can lead to the move being more costly and more time consuming. Here's an example of a space where the client just simply could not handle this on their own. There is so much there. Not only is it packed full, but then how do you figure out where all of that stuff will go? It's important to find the help and the resources that can assist in placing these things into better homes or removing them for trash if needed.
So do you have an after on that one, or was it just empty rooms once you got
No,
you
it was
finally
just
got that?
empty rooms once we were finished with it, but we were able to donate so much out of here, and provide the client with a donation list and receipt for them to use for tax purposes, which is great.
Mhm.
Um, and then, we removed any trash that needed and anything that needed to go to family members as well.
So that brings up one question
Sure.
is in terms of your strategy for disposing of all the extra.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're able to find a home absent trash for a fair amount of stuff, or is it, I'm just curious, that's sort of idle curiosity.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with being professionals and having the experience that we do, we have an outlet for almost everything.
Hmm.
Our goal is to keep as much out of the landfill as possible.
Right.
So, we have developed relationships with a variety of different donation centers, including food banks
Hmm.
for non-perishable foods. Um, we also do online auctions, which is great for making, a couple bucks on some things that otherwise would have been donated or even trashed.
Right.
And we also work very closely with a consignment shop to get our clients some money for their more high-end antique items. So
Hmm.
we really do have an outlet for almost everything. We even do electronic recycling. So
Oh, beautiful.
um, yep, we try to handle everything for our clients so they're stuck with as little as possible.
Hmm. Um, Great. So yeah, it's nice to just be able to take care of it all and try and find a new home for all that stuff because there's lots of good things out there that other
Absolutely.
people would be happy to have.
Yeah.
Do
One man's
you
trash is another man's treasure. It's very
Right.
true.
Yeah. And so do you run you mentioned an online auction. Is that something that you all run, or do you work with some kind of auction house or auction organ company to do that?
Yeah. So we partner with a company called Max Sold. They do all of their auctions are online,
Mm-hmm.
but we actually run them. So we do all the lotting and picture taking, and then we're there for the pickup as well. It just runs online through them.
So they're they're the online platform, but you're the boots on the ground.
Correct?
Great.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, anything else that you'd like to share? Do we need to go back to the slides,
Not
or is that a wrap?
Yeah, we can jump right back into the slides. We're actually
Yeah,
almost finished up. We have our
super.
last due.
Okay, there you go. I guess I was a little ahead of the curve there, huh?
That's all right. So we have do set yourself up for success. Set small, attainable goals. These will help you stick to your timeline and reach your end goal. Not to mention, it's exciting and encouraging when you reach a goal. Arrange for help. Family, friends, or professionals, anything will help. There are professionals out there like us where this is literally what we do. Like I mentioned, we specialize in helping people downsize and move. And then figure out what you're going to do with the excess. Are you going to donate it, sell it, give it away to family and friends, or trash or recycling? And then knowing as well the resources in your area to help with those things. And lastly, I would like to mention to be realistic about the value of things. This is one of the biggest challenges we run into is that it's hard to remember the current value of something versus what it was when you purchased it. That can be a big challenge. So it's important to be realistic about that.
No, I will echo that. That I've seen many of my clients struggle with the fact that some beautiful piece of furniture or artwork, all kinds of things that they value and that were expensive to purchase, don't
Mm.
hold the same value anymore. I had an experience like that personally. We had when my mom passed away. We had a beautiful antique Persian rug, which at one point was valued at $40,000, and we could in the end somebody offered us $2,500 for it, and so we opted to keep it.
Yeah,
but
it's an,
but
an unfortunate reality of downsizing. It is.
yep. Okay.
All right.
So
Well, I am finished with my portion. Do you have any questions for me, Harry?
I can't think of any at the moment. What I will do is in the remarks below, I'll have a
Mhm.
link to your website. So if people want to go and take a look and reach out to you all, I'll also put your contact information in
Great.
there so that if they have any further questions or would like to arrange for an initial consult or whatever they would like, the
Yep.
information will be right there.
Perfect. We are happy to help, and we also offer free in-home consultations.
Terrific. Very good. Okay, well, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate it. And the great tips, the do's and don'ts. And we will see you on the next one.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Bye bye.
Bye.